If you're like me, you like harvesting from the wild. How satisfying to have a meal that you picked and fished or hunted locally yourself. You walked in the woods and harvested your own salad ingredients or veggies to be sauteed with your Alaskan salmon dinner or to be added to your morning eggs. Alaska in the winter provides some, but the spring and summer here is amazing with an overabundance, and the autumn provides the yummy berries. So in this video, we're going to show a variety of plants, but not all of them, there's a lot, and it'll show them through the season so that you can see pictures of what they look like as they go along. Mostly we're going to talk about horsetail, yarrow, fireweed, spruce tips, and then some more dangerous ones like monkshood and baneberry. And of course, these will also have pictures. So beware and do your research. Please remember that what is safe for some is not safe for all. So do your research and find out what is good for your own health and your diet. Enjoy. Hi, welcome to Lindy in Alaska. It's a beautiful day here today. It's about 54 degrees. We're just starting to get into the springtime. Summer hasn't quite hit. So it's usually pretty cloudy and rainy, and today it's a beautiful sunshiny day. So I thought I would show you some of the useful edible and medicinal things that grow here that I always find really fascinating. Really everywhere in the springtime is a lot of greenery, brand new fresh growth after the snows have gone away. And it's just fun to go for walks in the woods. So I thought I'd show you a couple of the useful things that I like. Right now I'm working on making a shampoo for myself, and I am using horsetail. Horsetail, when it first starts coming up, it's more like this, and then it gets a little bushier, grows into these big bushes everywhere. People find it just to be a common weed. So here's some more horsetail. Whenever it first comes out, it's a little more of a stalk like this, and this stalk is edible when it's more of a brown. You just have to make sure to cook it for a long time. People told me it's edible. I've researched it. It is. The one time I tried it, it did upset my stomach. Yarrow is a little similar looking, but it's kind of, you can see it's kind of more feathery, and it's softer. It's not quite as firm as the other one. It can grow about the same height on the ground, but I like to get the fresher little ones like this. So this is fireweed. Maybe a lot of people have heard of fireweed. Fireweed grows everywhere up here. It will turn into this beautiful purple flower. It's kind of a fuchsia purple, kind of a pink purple blend. And when this plant first comes up, it is a little brown, little tiny brown one. Let me see if I can find one real quick. When it first comes up, it'll come up more like this, little brown shoots. Even this one's too big, but whenever it does have the little brown ones like this, I just pluck the whole thing, wash it with some fruit and vegetable wash, and put it on salads. I think it tastes delicious. Some people think it's a little tart, but really I like it on caprese salad with my tomatoes and cheese and basil. I think it's delicious, and it's got all the nutritional value of having something here locally that our body's craving in the springtime after all the snow. And you know, it doesn't have chemicals on it, especially after you wash it, but it doesn't have all the industrial chemicals, that's for sure. So the edible part, I said, is the green part. Usually it's little teeny tiny little bits like this. This even is too thick, but you get the idea. When it gets bigger, I just throw it over my shoulder. When it gets bigger, it is called fireweed because it'll stay green like this for maybe the next month, and then the flowers will come in. It'll be whole fields of these beautiful flowers. They do tend to come in right after a fire the thickest, after a wildfire, all the trees will just be black. The ground is black and big stumps sticking up everywhere that's black. And the first plant that comes in is this greenery. And then it'll all have those purplish flower, pinkish purple flowers everywhere. And it's the beautiful contrast of the pink, purple, green with the black. So that's one reason why it's called fireweed. Another reason is as the flower goes up the stalk, it kind of starts to bloom at the bottom and goes up the stalk throughout the season. Whenever the flower is bloomed all the way up out off the stalk, people say that the first snow will be here 6 weeks later. That is the old wives' tale, right? I found that it is kind of true. Once the fireweed has bloomed up the stalk of the flower, it'll start blooming throughout the season, and then at the top, once that bit goes away, tend to be snow, maybe about a month and a half later. But after that bloom's gone, it's just this puffy, kind of hairy, I don't know, it's kind of white colored, and it's very flammable. So you can actually use that fluff to start a fire when you're in the woods, and I've heard that's another reason why it's called fireweed. So I'm assuming it's called fireweed because it's the first plant that blooms in after a wildfire. Whenever you look at a field and it's covered in it, it has like a kind of fire looking to it when it's got the flowers going. And then when it's all bloomed out and it's got that little white fluff, it's easy to start fires that way. So multiple reasons for fireweed. Fireweed is used in making wine. You can also make jams and jellies out of it. You almost treat it like a berry. The entire thing is edible. You just don't want to eat it like this. It's very fibrous. It would not taste good, bitter. So you can see it's kind of fibrous. But again, it's the flowers that are used for the jams and jellies and wines. I think maybe I've heard of a local place that also does fireweed beer. Yeah, it's good stuff. I really like it. Just not to mention that it's just beautiful. This time of year, we're also starting to get lupin or lupine. Everyone says it a little differently. To me, it's lupin. I don't have any in the yard right here around me. That's a very purple flower. And as far as I know, there are no edible or medicinal properties to that flower. It's just pretty to see. And of course, right now we have all of the dandelions. The first flower that's really popping up this time of year is that bright yellow that everyone's loving to see. So that's starting to just go everywhere on the sides of the roads. So here in the north, of course, there's a lot of spruce trees, and this time of year they get these beautiful bright green tips. Now this, definitely people will make beer out of spruce tips. Spruce tip beer, it's kind of bitter, but it's really good. But what happens is, if you see, it's got a little bits of shell on the outside, and you just pull that off. It's got all this bright green. It's super soft, very soft. And we just take a little bite right out of it. I like to put these in ice cube trays, and then maybe in the fall, winter, when I'm really craving vitamin C, something green, and get those ice cubes out, put them in my water. I'm getting some greenery in my water. Just gives it that little bit of, you know, wild flavor. So these are another fun one to snack on whenever you are on the trail. I don't know if you can see how cute they are. Little tiny fibers. There we go. Basically tastes like a spruce tree. But, see? Just take that right off there. Kind of open it up. Spruce tips. I like the flavor of them. But I would imagine when you're first starting to learn about harvesting in the woods, you're getting acclimated to that flavor of wild things. And in the beginning, everything can taste bitter. But as you get more and more used to things like this, as you're plucking the spruce tips off, say you're taking a hike or something, sometimes you'll find one and you'll be like, wow, that one was really sweet. And you'll start to be able to compare, like, okay, this size bud maybe has a little more sweet flavor to it versus the slightly bigger ones that are a little more bitter. So that's spruce tips. Let's see what else we got around here. Penny, stay here. All right, let's go for a little walk over here. We're gonna pass through this little forest of fireweed. What are you doing, Penny? Let's see. We're gonna pick one of these and eat it. This one. That one looks pretty good. Pretty good. Alright, let's see what we got here. I'm going straight into the sun. Thought I'd seen some fiddleheads over here. Let's see where they're at. See more fireweed, horsetail, willow, roses. What else we got? Got some more yarrow down here. Horsetail, yarrow. These roses, little buds are from last year. Penny, what are you eating? Where are those fiddleheads at? See, this plant here is called a watermelon berry. And underneath these leaves, down there, berries will drop down. They're little red berries, perfectly, well, they're kind of oval shaped. And they have an aftertaste of watermelon. So that's nice to see in this yard. They won't be good probably for another, I'm going to say another month and a half, then they'll have some berries on them. But right now we're looking for fiddleheads. Let's see what we see here. You know, in this field, I'm going to say maybe 7 years ago, I was looking out the window and I saw across the way here an old birch tree that had some conch mushrooms on it, which are shelf mushrooms. Sometimes people call them artist conch because you can carve into them. And I believe it was maybe one of these trees here, this one that's down. And I saw a mom moose walk into the yard, and she was all out here eating everywhere. She went up to that tree and she got up on her hind legs and leaned against the front of the tree like she was a giraffe. So she was just standing on her hind legs over there at that tree, right there, that one. And it kind of has some mushrooms at the top of it still, but that's what she got. She got some of those mushrooms off there, and I watched her eat those conch mushrooms. It was really cool to see. I had no idea that. Well, that's probably why when you're walking through the woods and you spot the mushrooms, they're always higher up, a little bit too high for humans to reach, but high enough for the moose to be able to get them. So, come to learn that the moose like those kind of mushrooms. It's kind of cool. Let's see what we got going on here. What are you eating? Okay, just grass. Is that helping your tummy? Alright, we've got some dwarf dogwood here. There, dwarf dogwood. Maybe you guys know it as another name. It'll have a white flower on it. Those right there will turn white. And I don't know what uses they have to them. If anybody knows. Most know that Devil's Club inner bark can be used for its topical pain-relieving properties, but many people don't know that Devil's Club buds are edible. The buds are one of the very first buds to appear in the spring. A tiny sprout will show on the tip of the spiky branches. Here I've prepared them with fiddleheads, but they can also be eaten on the trail raw when they're still tightly compressed. All around us are useful and edible plants. Some are beautiful, like roses, chocolate lily, though it doesn't smell very good, forget-me-not, and water lily. But many very useful plants are just considered weeds. Chickweed, clover, geranium, pineapple weed, plantain weed, wormwood, pushki, and more. Let's also talk about what not to eat. When we learn, we also have to educate ourselves on the dangers of a thing. Though there are more, here are a few. Monkshood, also called wolfsbane, was once used on poison arrows and on bait for hunting wolves, hence its name. All parts of the plant are toxic, causing death. Do not touch it so it does not get into any mucous membranes on accident. Baneberry comes in white or red, and it looks like a doll's eye, hence the alternative name doll's eye. Lupone, if large quantities consumed, death by respiratory paralysis may occur, though it is safe to touch. False Hellebore causes severe nausea and vomiting and irritates the skin. So we are doing a day of harvesting. It is a class put on by a local trail system, and you go with a woman who knows her stuff. She's over there teaching the class about berries. And it just as we go along the trail, she educates on the edible and medicinal properties of the different plants, everything from tree barks to mushrooms, berries. We've gone over plantain and pineapple weed. Some interesting things so far.
The plantain. One of my favorite things to use plantain for is if you have a cut or a scrape, it's a fantastic poultice for that. You can also use it on bug bites. Alright. The spring leaves, again, so they're more akin to spinach. The flowers are also edible. Salads, you can make a tea out of it just for like tea's sake. Bread doughs, muffins, and soup garnishes. The leaf is actually good for another one that's good for stopping bleeding. Honestly, though, my favorite forever and it always will be the yarrow.
And we can't forget all the berries here. Alaska's wide range of berries are wonderful. There's raspberries, strawberries, high bush cranberries, low bush cranberries, timber berries, and then there's other wild edible ones not shown here, like delicious blueberry, salmonberry, watermelon berry, currants, bearberry, crowberry, bunchberry, and more. You can go berry crazy. So we started this video in the springtime. It is now the fall in Alaska. I thought I'd show what it's like to kind of walk through some of the mud bog areas in the woods. And I am walking a dog, so if you hear a squeak, that's her with her ball. But I wanted to show what it's like right before the snow hits. We'll probably get snow in maybe 2 or 3 weeks. That's what I'm guessing. And this is what Alaska looks like right now. Okay, here it goes. A lot of moss and lichen on the ground. And little baby mushrooms. But as you can see, the red's coming in the different colors on the ground. And everything's turning yellow. And just really squishy, lots of rain right now. So this is walking in the woods in the fall in Alaska. Some areas the trees are really yellow, like down there. But here in this area, it's just a lot of spruce trees. Where's Tessa? Hey Tessa. Okay. So she's on an adventure, we're on an adventure together, just seeing what's in the woods. And there's a lot of mushrooms out right now. It's a little bit past the berry season. I just did come across a giant bear scat pile. I do believe that was brown bear. So let's hope we don't see any of those out here. Let's go through here a little bit more. And you can see this is a good reason why moose have such long legs. It's when they step in that, they probably sink down a couple feet. Hi, Tessa. Let's see here. And the moose love this area. Come out here and eat. Sometimes when I'm out here, I'm looking for sundews. Sundews are plants in Alaska that eat bugs. So there are some of those here. I think they're one of my very favorite plants. Sundews. Feed me, Seymour. Feed me. Thank you for watching this brief overview of a few of the most common wild plants in Alaska. There's always more to explore in this beautiful world. But for now, we're losing 5 to 6 minutes of daylight per day. Winter is coming. See you next time.